No balls, 2 strikes. And it gets away from Bartlett. Here comes Sunday. It's over. Thank you and good night.
A beautiful Sunday afternoon for baseball. Brewers fans filing in here looking for a series win as we see the Milwaukee Brewers come up in this series finale against the Cincinnati Reds. And the fans are excited to cheer about this team again, thanks to Eric Sogard, who provided the moment that this team was desperately looking for, scoring the game-winning run, ending a 6-game losing streak. We take a look at the National League Central standings. The Cubs and the Cardinals tied for first place, and the Brewers just 2 games back. Good afternoon, everyone. Sophia Minert here at Miller Park, and certainly it was a moment the Brewers needed last night to snap that 6-game losing streak. And this morning, after the announcement last night that they have acquired Neil Walker, second baseman from the Mets, and fans are probably most familiar with him from his time with the Pirates from 2009 through 2015. He spent the last 2 seasons with the Mets, so you see his season numbers as .264 average for him, 10 home runs, 36 RBIs, that despite being on the disabled list with a left hamstring injury. Now for Brent Suter, he has been placed on the 10-day disabled list, a left rotator cuff strain for him. He will need some time to heal. In another move, Michael Blazek designated for assignment. So General Manager David Stern spoke on the addition of Neil Walker and how he'll impact this club moving forward.
I think we're adding a very professional, experienced hitter who we can deploy in our lineup in a number of different places. A switch hitter who's had a tremendous amount of success against right-handed pitching throughout his career and including this season. And so we're excited to add Neil to our team.
Well, as we go up to our game announcers, Matt LePay and Bill Schroeder, Walker is here. He is active. He is playing third base and batting cleanup in place of Travis Shaw. And David Stern said, look, it's not every time that you get to add a player like Neil Walker, a player who has experience, a switch hitter, provides some depth here to this team.
Yeah, it should be a big boost for this team, I would think, Sophia. Rock, we've talked last few years. We really like this guy. We were surprised when the Pirates decided to move him to the Mets for John Neese. He's playing third today, but mostly a second baseman, and there's certainly pop in Neil Walker's bat from the left side.
And it gives you a lot of experience. I think Sophia hit on it, and as his team tries to navigate through this playoff push. I mean, Neil Walker, he's switch hitter. He's got power, particularly from the left side. I mean, the numbers haven't been all that great as a right-hander, but it still gives you an option against left-handed pitching to put Walker in the lineup. He's probably going to play predominantly second base, but even when he's not in the lineup, it strengthens the bench. I mean, he's a guy that he's not in a deer in the headlights. He's had extensive big league time, and I think it's going to be helpful also when with Neil Walker on this ball club as this young team tries to get through the next 6 weeks in this playoff push. He's going to provide a lot of experience. He was with the Pirates for 3 years when they were in the wild card hunt. So it's going to be interesting to watch Neil Walker, how Craig Counsell uses him and his impact on this ball club.
We will get an early look. He is hitting cleanup today. Look forward to watching Walker as a Brewer. Matt Garza. Yes, there is such a thing as home field advantage. As Garza takes the mound today, the Brewers trying to win this series. We'll tell you about the home field advantage for Garza coming up. Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light beer. By Hupy and Abraham, voted best, rated best. Hupy and Abraham, tell them you mean business. And by Menards, save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. Well, the season, Matt Garza has pitched far better at Miller Park than he has on the road, and he's turned that up a couple of notches. You see what he's done over his last 4 home starts, a sub-2 ERA. And the veteran today will go against Sal Romano, who back in mid-April made his major league debut against the Brew Crew. Didn't last long. The Brewers got to him early and went on to a win in Cincinnati. It has been an entertaining series. The long ball, a huge storyline. It certainly was the case last night, right up until extra innings when a wild pitch was the difference. Series finale is coming up. Say hello to the newest Milwaukee Brewer, Neil Walker, coming over from the New York Mets for a player to be named. He hits cleanup today for the Brew Crew. Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin, presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Let the games begin. We have had terrific weather throughout the course of this weekend. More of the same today. Light clouds, but we'll stay dry. Mid-70s for this series finale between the Brewers and the Cincinnati Reds. Let's check out the Reds batting order presented by Potawatomi. Billy Hamilton at the top. Jesse Winker hits second. Joey Votto third. Adam Duvall hits cleanup, followed by Scooter Gennett and Eugenio Suarez. Jose Peraza in the lineup today. Tucker Barnhart behind the plate. Sal Romano rounds out the batting order, and that's the order that will face Matt Garza.
Yeah, see his numbers overall. He's been very good at home this year. A 4-2 record in 10 starts at Miller Park. A .354 earned run average. Got roughed up last time out in a loss to the Twins in Minneapolis.
Looking to get things squared away today and give the Brewers a series win. A dearly needed victory for the Brew Crew last night. These two games have been entertaining. On Friday night, the Brewers found themselves down by 8 early on, pulled to within 1. The Reds held them off, and then last night in extras, the Brewers scoring the winning run on a wild pitch. And Garza evens the count to Hamilton, a ball, a strike.
Eric Sogard able to score on that wild pitch. Didn't get too far away from Tucker Barnhart, the catcher. Good heads up base running.
We got that inning started with a double off the wall in left center is Hamilton, who's good at hitting to begin the game, and that's how he begins it here this afternoon. And he takes that big turn. Leadoff single for Hamilton.
Well, let's check out the Menards Brewers defense. You got BRAUN in left. Perez getting a start out in center field today. Domingo Santana in right. Newly acquired Neil Walker at third base. You got Sogard VR up the middle. Thames at first. And Manny PINA once again back behind home plate. Sogard getting a start at short. No Orlando Arcia or Travis Shaw today.
Walker getting his 3rd start at third base this season. Couple with the Mets, and his 16th career start over there for Walker, the former first-round pick of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Play a little bit of first, but by and large a second baseman in his big league career as Jesse Winker settles in.
Yeah, Walker anxious to get here. He was in the Mets lineup yesterday. After the trade, they pulled him out. He got here today early in the morning, and here he is in the starting lineup.
A good solid player through his career. A lot of very productive years with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Moved over to the Mets a couple of years ago. Dealt with a hamstring injury, as Sophia Minard was telling us a little while ago. It kept him out for a few weeks, but you know, after struggling a little bit there for a time, the bat heating up the last couple of games, and certainly looking for a whole lot more of that, as Winker will send one out of play down the left field line.
Yeah, at the time when he was with the Pirates, I mean, Neil Walker, one of the better run-producing second basemen in all of baseball. A lot of power, particularly as a left-handed hitter. He's a switch hitter. Average fielder. And Craig Counsell said he's going to play a lot, mostly at second base.
Over at third today, remember Travis Shaw beat himself up with that bat, fouling a pitch off his foot, fouling a pitch off his knee. So Walker gets the turn at third base today as Winker with a foul ball. Billy Hamilton leading off with a single. The Neil Walker story as he comes over to the Milwaukee Brewers. Player to be named, and he said the numbers, he's had good solid numbers throughout his career, including winning a Silver Slugger Award in 2014 with the Pirates. That's 73 games, so he's been limited with the hamstring injury, but as we mentioned, the last couple of games he's been swinging the bat pretty well. So with some luck, that'll carry over to his new ball club.
I'll tell you, Billy Hamlin's got a monster lead over at first base. He really doesn't need a big lead. He's so fast, it's very difficult to throw him out. He's got one of the bigger leads that you'll see. Garza hesitates to throw over to first base.
The Brewers kept Hamilton off the bases last night, and see, that is a monster lead, but he holds as Winker sends this one in the air, shallow right center field, and it'll be Hernan Perez calling off VR for the first out of the day. Now Joey Votto continues to get on base. That's what he does better than anyone. A .446 on base percentage. Last night walked a couple of times, had a base hit in the 10th inning, and that extends his hitting streak to 17 games. Hamilton, the National League leader in stolen bases. He has 48, including 3 on Friday night. Again, testing Garza with that big lead.
A lot of different ways you can hold a runner on first without having to throw over. You know, hold the baseball, freeze the runner, freeze the hitter, step off. Garza doing the best he can, but you got to figure Billy Hamilton's not going to be there much longer.
And Hamilton is running right now as that pitch is hit in the air left field. Ryan Braun near the corner runs it down for out number 2.
And Hamilton had that one stolen. And the Brewers fortunate Joey Votto got under one. Look at that lead. I mean, that's incredible. That lead, and he would have had second base standing up probably. Has to retouch the bag after going past it and gets back to first.
He was recruited to play college football. Mississippi State. Always wondered a fleet-footed wide receiver he would have been had he chosen that route.
Right.
Here is Adam Duvall. Duvall last night homered in the first. Hamilton running. Pina with the throw, and safe at second is Hamilton.
Yeah, closer than you thought it was going to be, right? Big lead, good jump. Billy Hamilton runs like the wind. And Manny Pina's right on the bag. Made it interesting, but Hamilton able to beat the throw. That's a monster lead. You're not going to see a bigger lead than that anywhere.
You're right. We have not seen him take big leads, but testing Garza here, and know that Pina has a strong arm. Mentioned he hits well in the first inning. Now that has not been the case in the first 2 games of this series, but he singled here today, and of his 49 stolen bases, 22 of them have come in inning number 1. A ball, no strikes to Adam Duvall. Home run for him last night was the 26th this season. Through the first 9 innings, all of the runs, both Reds and Brewers, coming from the home run. So it was, I guess, fitting, made perfect sense that a wild pitch would result in the final run.
Right. You knew it was happening. It was an 0-2 pitch to Braun in the dirt, and Sogard got the good jump, ended the game.
A ball, a strike to the Reds left fielder. Putting together another very good year at the plate is Adam Duvall, and a swing and a miss.
And one of the pitches that gave Garza a problem his last time out, that was against the Twins, was that 2-seam fastball. Not able to get it on the plate, particularly on the inside corner. And when he did throw it over, it was up in the zone.
Just 3 1/3 against the Twins on Tuesday night. As Rock mentioned, Garza fares much better here at home this season. And Duvall will lift one in the air. Eric Thames in foul territory. And a leadoff single from Hamilton is harmless as Garza retires Winker, Votto, and Duvall. Brewers coming up. Going to get going off Matt Garza in the top half of the first inning. Big crowd at Miller Park this afternoon. See if the Brewers could take 2 out of 3 against the Reds. Here's the Brewers batting order presented by Potawatomi. Jonathan Villar will be at the top. Eric Thames hits second. Ryan Braun, who had career homer number 40 against the Reds last night, hits third. Neil Walker cleanup. Domingo Santana, Manny Pina, Eric Sogard, Hernan Perez, and Matt Garza rounding out the Brewers batting order against the rookie Sal Romano.
Yeah, making start number 8. You can see his record, a 2-4 record, big earned run average over 5. He's given up the 4 home runs. He lost in his major league debut against the Brewers back on April 16th.
Hard throwing big guy, 6'5", listed at 270 pounds, from Connecticut. State High School Player of the Year there. In fact, all signs pointed to him playing college baseball at the University of Tennessee. 2-0 pitch to VR in there for a strike.
Yeah, mid-90s, got some movement on his fastball, curveball, slider.
VR having a nice series here at the plate. Had a hit last night, back in the leadoff spot. Two balls, 2 strikes. VR, Thames, and Braun here in the bottom of the first inning. 2-2 pitch. Mentioned it last night, trying to get him going, obviously, with Neil Walker now in the fold. It gives Craig Counsell another option at second base. VR at the end of the Twins series, and the first couple of games here, really with the Reds, he was swinging a pretty good bat. Particularly on Friday night, he did, and trying to see if he can straighten out what has been a tough year, very tough year.
Yeah, and you figure, the playing time is going to be a little bit more difficult for VO to find, but he's going to have to adjust to his role. Those pitches aren't missing by much at the bottom of the strike zone. Romano looking into the Reds dugout, wondering where they're at. Well, let's check out the Menard Cincinnati defense. You got Duvall, Winker on the corners in the outfield. Billy Hamilton, who stays in the ballpark, pretty good chance he's going to catch it. You got Peraza at short. No Zach Cozart today, so a big bat out of the Cincinnati lineup. Jeanette at second. Tucker Barnhart behind home plate.
Yeah, Brian Price will have some options there. Cozart been flexing the home run power here the last few ball games, as has Eric Thames against Reds pitching all year long. You can blame him if those eyes just light up when the Reds roll onto the schedule. You see what he has done through the first 2 games. Homered again last night.
Up a home run to center field on Friday, 1 to left last night. Talk about seeing red.
That is exactly what he's doing. 10 home runs against Reds pitching this season. We are the runner at first, and the pitch to Thames. Again, not missing by a lot.
No, he's not. Well, Dave Rackley behind home plate, not giving a low strike. That one right at the top of the strike zone, not getting that call.
Reds had some issues with some work behind the plate last night. 2 balls, no strikes, make it 3-0. As Tucker Barnhart's going to need a quick meeting with his rookie pitcher. In the meantime, Eric Thames, you teed off against Reds pitching from the very first road swing of the season. Doesn't matter if it's a Great American Ballpark or here at Miller Park. He just runs into a lot. Now, the Reds give up a ton of bombs, but Thames in particular has done some work.
Yeah, no kidding. He had 11 home runs in the month of April. 8 of them came against Cincinnati. The Reds have given up as a staff more home runs than any team in the big leagues, 194 of them. So Eric Thames and the rest of the league been feasting off Reds pitching, hitting home runs.
3-1 the count to Thames. He's ahead of the curve in home runs against any one team. Aaron Judge 8 against the Orioles. Nelson Cruz, Chris Davis 7 home runs. Cruz against the A's, Davis against the Astros. 3-1 pitch to Thames. Brewers begin the day just 2 games behind the Chicago Cubs. Everything worked out right last night. Brew Crew with the extra inning win, while the Diamondbacks were beating the Cubbies. Let's keep close tabs throughout the division. Pirates trailing the Blue Jays in the 4th inning 5-1. Then Hurdle's team rolls into town on Tuesday night.
Yeah, Pirates had some real shaky defense in last night's game. Ended up losing yesterday afternoon, I should say.
Atlanta and St. Louis getting underway. Cardinals have reeled off 8 straight wins. 3-2 to Thames, and that's strike 3 called, and he knew it. Out number 1. Sal Romano, we mentioned it looked like he was going to play his college ball at Tennessee.
That 2-seam fastball catching the inside corner. And Tucker Barnhart holding it there for Rackley, the home plate umpire. Barnhart, a solid defensive catcher.
Romano was a 23rd round draft pick that got a signing bonus. It would usually go to somebody drafted several rounds higher. About 450 large he got. So he scratched the college plans and said, I'll be a pro now. And it's back in 2011.
A lot of money for a high school kid.
It is. Ryan Braun at the plate. It was a tough year for Tennessee baseball. They lost not just Sal Romano, but Mookie Betts had committed to Tennessee and then changed his mind. You know, Braun last night hit his 40th of the year, or 40th of his career, against Cincinnati pitching.
That was a nice Sopranos reference right there. 450 large.
450 large.
I like it.
Missed that show. Did you watch that show? 0-1 to Braun. A little pitch out. Nothing doing with VR. If you're 18 years old, or if you're 58 years old, someone wants to offer you that kind of money. Okay.
Drop that kind of money on you. Yep, I'll do it.
Story goes, he knew what he wanted, and if there was not a number in that neighborhood, he was off to Knoxville. A big guy, the 23-year-old, not afraid to come after people. Up and down here in this rookie season. Reds have a lot of rookie pitchers they have rolled out there this year.
And Reds have used 31 different pitchers this year, far and away a franchise record.
Ryan Price was the pitching coach under former manager Dusty Baker before the Reds made their move a few years back. They are on a pace, Reds pitching, to surpass a dubious record they set last year in home runs allowed. 1-2 strikes to Braun. Brewers lead the National League in stolen bases. They spread the wealth in that category. VR has 21. In the meantime, the count is 1-2 to Ryan Braun. VR is running, and Braun, it's a drive to left field. Duvall going back and bangs off the wall. VR wheeling around third. Eddie Seaver lays him around. Here's the throw to the plate, and VR is safe. 1-0 Brewers. RBI knock from Ryan Braun.
Well, he's locked in right now. Look out. And Ryan Braun almost taking down the left field wall with that one. That was a bomb, a bolt. Just get under it a little bit. There's a curveball. You can see the knuckle curve grip, and Ryan Braun able to center on it. It was up in his zone. Crashes hard off that wall out and left. Played pretty well by Duvall. Got it in quickly, but good base running by VR. He was around second base when that ball hit the wall and scores run number 1.
And here is Neil Walker making his Brewers debut, and he takes a strike.
Well, you can't hit a baseball any harder than that.
Well, you're right. He is locked in, and it goes back to last weekend when he really wasn't rewarded for it in that series against the Rays. 8-game hitting streak now for Brawny. 16 for 30 in that stretch. So the Brewers, who scored 3 in the first inning last night, scratch here this afternoon. And a very good inning all season long for the Crew. Neil Walker has his first at bat in a Brewers uniform.
You know, we've talked about what Neil Walker can provide the Brewers on the field, but off the field, equally important in that, you know, Neil Walker was on those Pirates teams that won 3 consecutive wild cards, so he could provide a lot of experience in that clubhouse with his young team trying to get through this pennant race. Be a good presence in there.
A ball, 2 strikes. Braun off the bag at second, and Barnhart has to go down and get it.
Yeah, check out Neil Walker, the on deck hitter. He's telling him to slide to the foul side of the base or home plate. Good job by Walker. Veteran move, telling his guy where to slide.
2 balls, 2 strikes. We've seen some pretty nice Brewers debuts here at Miller Park this season. We'll see what Neil Walker can add to that party here this afternoon. And there's a quick answer, a base hit to right field. Here comes Braun. It gets by Winker. Walker will keep going. Braun is in. Walker to second. 2-0 Milwaukee.
How about that first impression right there? You betcha. He's been swinging about well. Driving in a run in his first at bat. That's got to feel good for Walker. And another fastball from Romano right down the middle of the plate. And he finds the hole. Winker overruns it, making that run very easy for Ryan Braun. Boy, that Cedar waving around the whole time, man. Ryan looking at right field. Got to use your coach.
Single E9, no RBI, but Walker with a base hit in his first at bat as a Brewer. Welcome to Milwaukee. Now Walker, the runner at second for Domingo Santana. Reached a couple of times last night, a hit and a walk.
How many times have we seen Neil Walker do that to the Brewers? It's good to see him doing that for the Brewers.
Yeah, he has hit well in this ballpark. He's mostly as a Pirate, of course, as a Met as well. He's hit in his career 13 home runs against the Brewers. 11 have come here. Just like home. 2 balls, no strikes to Santana. Good start for the Brew Crew on this Sunday afternoon. To Sal Romano. A couple of choppy starts his last couple of outings. Best outing recently was July 23rd in Cincinnati against the Marlins. 6 innings of 3-hit 1-run ball.
Yeah, the Padres hit him pretty good. 6 innings, 5 runs in a loss. That was his last time out. I haven't seen a whole lot of him. This is the second time we've seen him, but you would figure if he's able to get that curveball over for strikes. He hung it to Braun. He ripped it off the wall. If he's able to use it, get that pitch over, he's probably going to have a good day. He throws hard. He gets that secondary pitch over. And that's a big if.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Santana. There's a strikeout. Second one here for Romano in this first inning. Here's Manny PINA. He was not in the lineup originally last night, but came in later in the game. It was a case both times here within the last week where he hasn't been in the lineup, and he's gotten in there later. Andrew Susac with a start Monday against the Twins. PINA came on as a pinch hitter in the 9th inning and doubled. RBI chance for Pina, who's knocked in 34 this year.
Yeah, Craig Counsell now has 5 players on his bench. I mean, that's more like it. I mean, it's difficult to get through a season with only 4. They've done it a lot this year. Most of the time, actually. Less chance of running out of players as you get into maybe late in the game and into extra innings.
Pina with a fly ball out into right field. Winker going back toward the corner, and he can't get it. It's a fair ball. Scoring will be Walker. Pina a double, and it's a 3-run first inning for the Brewers.
Now this is more like it. This Brewers offense back and going at it. Took a vacation for a while, but it all started on Friday coming back. 6 runs yesterday, and the Brewers laying a 3 spot on Romano in the first. Having a slice job just out of the reach inside that right field line, and bounces out of play. So a ground rule double for Manny and another RBI for the Brewers.
Well, you mentioned it last night, Rock, that you're not a big believer in momentum, generally speaking, but the runs that they put on the board on Friday night, it gives you a little shot of confidence. And we saw it last night. They left runners on, but they end up putting 6 on the board. It was all they could do to get 5 for a couple of weeks. And this is the Brewers team we're more used to seeing right now.
Yeah, I'm not a big believer in team momentum day to day. That's established by the pitcher that you're facing that day or your pitcher. But I am a big believer in, games like Friday, that comeback will give individual confidence for the next day. Yes, I'm seeing the ball better. Yeah, I'm putting a good swing on the baseball. That's what those things will do for you. Not necessarily as a team. That momentum is built day to day.
There's Eric Sogard, and maybe some confidence going with Sogard right now, and not going on with Sal Romano.
In other words, Matt Garza's scoreless top of the first provides momentum for the Brewers already. I mean, as opposed to what Romano has allowed, he's given up 3 runs. Negative momentum, putting momentum in the Brewers dugout.
Sogard, the catalyst in that 10th inning. It was the difference in the game last night. Double off the boards in left center field, and eventually came around to score on the wild pitch. Also walked in that game. He is getting on base, and we saw a whole lot of that from mid-May until the ankle injury knocked him out for a time. 2-1 pitch. Sogard will send it out of play.
I tell you, nobody really talking a whole lot about it, but that at bat for Jesus Aguilar. I mean, he was down 0-2. There were 2 outs. He drew the walk. He allowed BRAUN to get up there, and that was a big at bat. I mean, nobody really saying a whole lot about it, but a strikeout there, and that whole opportunity is not available.
The Brewers left a lot of runners on in that game, and that would have been maybe difficult, extremely difficult to overcome. He was the last man available off the bench for Counsell. There's ground ball off the bat is Sogard. That's Jose Peraza, and that'll wrap up the first inning for the Brewers. But a good start for Craig Counsell's bunch, and BRAUN got it started. Popping a double off the wall. Neil Walker says hello to the Brewers fans with a base hit to right. BRAUN comes around, and then Manny Pina helps the Brewers to a 3-0 lead. They have scored 95 runs in the first inning, including 3 today. Neil Walker with a base hit. His debut at bat as a Milwaukee Brewer. Mentioned he hits well at Miller Park. He did as a Pirate and as a Met. Nice start now as a Milwaukee Brewer.
Yeah, flew in this morning, got in about 10:30. Sleep's overrated, you know.
Especially when you're walking into a pennant race, right?
Yeah.
You know, from the Mets, and now here you are. You're right in the thick of it. Here is Scooter Gennett. Throughout the weekend, he has put together an outstanding season. You see the batting average. Strong OPS. Reds already have 4 players with 20 home runs, and Gennett is on the edge. Garza evens a count with him, a ball a strike. The last 4 home starts have been outstanding for Garza. 2 winning decisions, a 1.64 ERA. Curveball breaks the bat of Gennett. Here's a tough chance for Walker, and the throw in time. Yes, sir. Neil Walker with a nice play. Good stretch from Thames as well.
Yeah, that'll test that hamstring right there. Nice play on the bare hand. Hasn't had a whole lot of starts or games over at third, but able to make that play nicely. Bare hand pickup, good throw. He hasn't made that throw all that often. Thames a little bit of a bobble over there at first. There's a tester to start his day at third.
Third start over there this season. Second baseman almost exclusively at this level. 16th start in his career at third. Here's Eugenio Suarez. Suarez, one of the 4 Reds hitters who has gone deep at least 20 times and having a good series at the plate. Ball a strike to the Reds' third baseman, the much improved third baseman. Made a nice play last evening. One attempt from Keon Broxton, hard charge, and was able to put the runner away.
Yeah, he had a difficult time defensively in the first half last year. All of a sudden, second half much better. This year, very good. Reds as a team have been very solid defensively all season. Only 54 errors they've committed. 55, including the one out in right field today. Offense has been good. Defense very good, but pitching has not been good.
The starting pitching in particular. Bullpen been pretty solid, although the Brewers have gotten to it here in these first 2 ball games, especially on Friday night. A ball, 2 strikes to Suarez, and that'll cost him strike 3 for out number 2. Let's check in with Sophia Minnaert on the newest Brewer, Neil Walker.
Thanks, Matt. Yeah, the scoops from the clubhouse brought to you by Car Scoop. Talking with manager Craig Counsell this morning about the addition of Neil Walker, and he said really it's important just getting another lefty bat in there. He said the switch hitter, he's been such a consistent run producer and middle of the order presence throughout his career, obviously many years with the Pirates and then most recently 2 seasons with the Mets. So he said he feels that this lineup is really at its best when they have that balance against right-handed pitching. He says so it gives us a little bit more thunder there in the middle, and obviously the positional versatility as well. He's in at third today for Travis Shaw, who's dealing with some soreness in the knee after being hit yesterday, and you may see him at first base as well, along with his primary position of second.
All right, thank you very much. A nice addition to this team, and a nice start already for Walker.
Well, you think about it, you know, you get Travis Shaw back in the lineup, and that gives you a lot of length in that batting order. I mean, Walker, a switch hitter. You know, he's much better as a left-handed hitter than right throughout his career, but you know, everybody, you know, not ratchets down one spot in the batting order, and all of a sudden you have some pretty good potential for runs.
Soft liner right to Sogard, and Matt Garza has a 1-2-3 second. 3-0 Brewers.
playoffs are back, and here was a look last night. Travis Shaw, it was a very tough at bat for him. Initially fouled it off of his foot, and then later would foul it off just inside the kneecaps there. So a double whammy there for Shaw. He had to leave the game last night, but today he is considered day-to-day. Fortunately, all the x-rays negative for Shaw. Counsel saying he would be available only in an emergency situation, dealing with a lot of soreness as expected from being hit twice, both in the foot and in the knee, but he'll benefit from the off day tomorrow, and they're hopeful that he can be back in there on Tuesday.
All right, thanks, Sophia. Travis Shaw is one tough dude.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw him get hit in the neck last weekend in a series with the Rays, stealing second base. The throw down struck him flush on the neck, and then that was a rugged at bat last night.
Yeah, and in Tampa, he had to leave the game, after that slide and got hit by the net, but he was in the next day.
Yeah, right. He had to go in because Domingo Santana got hit right away with a pitch. So Hernan Perez, who's at the plate now, he started that game at third base, and they had to move him right away to right field to clear space for Shaw as Perez rolls one to Jose Peraza for out number one.
And it wasn't so much the foul ball off the foot, it was the one off the inside of the knee that kind of left a mark, and that's the painful one, and that's why he's out of the lineup today.
Here's Matt Garza. So it was Garza and Ryan Braun wanted the little players only get together after the Thursday night loss to the Minnesota Twins. Two veteran guys. Now obviously, Neil Walker would be in that mix now, but the two most veteran players on this ball club trying to give a little fun back, but that personality we've seen so much with this team. There's a bouncer over to Votto, and he'll flip to Romano. 2 up, 2 down.
Yeah, the more guys you can have on your team for this young ball club to have played in the postseason or been in a postseason race. You got Garza, surely. Yeah, Braun, and now Walker, and that's got to help in the clubhouse for sure. They've been through the wars before, pennant races. They know what it takes to get through it.
Garza, of course, American League Championship Series MVP, and then again there is the manager who has had a rather prominent role in a couple of Game 7s of World Series. You see that. I think a lot of folks go around the league, they have a lot of praise for Counsell and how he has handled this team. And you play in the league as long as he has, and you've been in the bright light, the big stages that he has been a part of in his career. You can navigate through a tough stretch in July and August.
There are those out there that think he is a serious manager of the year candidate.
We've been hearing that the last few days.
Right. And not just from the folks with the Brewers.
No, and what's interesting, Rock, and you're here all the time. I hear it a little bit. That's unsolicited. People, come up and say that. They say, this guy, you gotta throw him in that mix.
But they have to stay in the mix.
That's the trick. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Jonathan Villar, who walked in the first inning, and a swing and a miss here as Sal Romano, who had a rough first, has a 1-2-3 second. We are through 2. It's 3-0 Brewers.
Story in baseball. Good news this morning for Bryce Harper after a very scary scene last night at Nationals Park. This was in the first inning. Bryce Harper running out, a ground ball slipped on first base and crashed violently to the ground. You see him there in pain on the ground, clutching that left knee. The news for him, it's a significant bone bruise. They put him on the 10-day DL with a hyperextended left knee, but the news from General Manager Mike Rizzo is that there is no ligament or tendon damage to that knee, so they really feel that they have dodged a bullet there in terms of the severity of Harper's injury. There is no timetable for his return. They are expecting him back this season, and the Nationals do have a 14.5 game lead in the National League East. So certainly very encouraging news for Harper, for Nationals fans, and really just for fans all across the game.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sophia. Yeah, that's an MVP caliber player right there. Certainly he's putting up the numbers this year that has him in the mix. In that clip, Rock, you saw Dusty Baker, who's seen about all there is to see in this game twice. And he's got his hands on his head. That gives you an idea.
Again, dodging a bullet's an understatement. That could have been, I mean, career-threatening, an injury like that. I mean, a number of different things could have happened, but he's going to be all right, you hope. And you can't be losing your stars like that. All of baseball needs guys like Bryce Harper.
No doubt. There's his emotions on his sleeves during the course of games, and but we talked about when the Brewers were in D.C. a couple of weeks ago. He's many things, but above all else, he is a phenomenal talent.
That was a world-class snap that he had against the Brewers in D.C.
It was. It was still one of, we talk about, there are just certain matchups over 162 games that stand out. Barnhart with a liner into left field that'll drop in front of Santana. That's how the Reds begin the third inning. We mentioned it last night. You have certain pitcher hitter matchups that just stand out above the rest. And, Brent Suter and Aaron Judge in New York, and then Josh Hader going up against Bryce Harper. Now the end of the story was not a good ending for the Brewers, but that at bat was, as Hader in a big moment struck out Harper. Harper didn't like strike one, strike two, whatever it was called, and then after he punched out, we saw the meltdown.
Yeah, he blew a cork. It was actually a strike one pitch he didn't like. That's the unusual thing. You can understand maybe if it was a called strike three. It was close. It was a strike. But hey, we digress. But again, you hope that Bryce Harper is going to be okay.
Yeah, no, he is a ton of fun to watch. That was a very awkward looking step onto the bag. Leadoff single here from Barnhart. Sal Romano trying to move him up a bag and lays down the bunt. Thames will flip to VR, covering first for out number one. Bunt from Romano. Barnhart moves up to second. The guy hit a big home run on Friday night. The Brewers had rallied to get to within one, and Barnhart homered in the seventh inning. And that long ball proved to be the difference in the 11-10 win.
Well, like we have been saying the entire year, I mean, I think everybody's saying their offense, nothing wrong with their offense. They can score runs.
Well, the Brewers struggled mightily out of the All-Star break. Likewise, the Reds, they couldn't buy a win coming out of the All-Star break. Billy Hamilton singled to begin the game and stole his 49th base of the year as well. Brewers kept him off the bags last night. Took an 0 for 5.
That's how you beat Cincinnati. Every time he's been on base, he's stolen a base.
3 of them on Friday night. Shows bunts. The league by now, you would think everybody has an idea that if you drift off the bag at second base, you're playing with fire with that arm of Manny Pina. His 6 pickoffs continue to lead all catchers.
And it's particularly effective with a guy like Barnhart out at second base. He doesn't run all that well, kind of average at best. But you keep him close enough to second base, he might not score on a base hit. Not so much all the time. The threat of the pickoff is you're trying to pick them off. Just keep them close.
Barnhart, one of 3 catchers of the Reds' 25-man. Saw all 3 of them last night, in fact. Stuart Turner pinch hit. Mesoraco started and then got ejected late. Barnhart finished up. Which is inside to Hamilton. 3-1 is the count. This is the first stop on a 3-city road trip for Cincinnati. 4 games set with the Cubs starting tomorrow. Then they move on to play 3 with the Braves. Scheduled off day for the Crew tomorrow. And the Pirates in on Tuesday and Wednesday. 3-1. Hamilton again tries to bunt his way on, and a foul ball. He tried to bunt last night with 2 strikes. Swinging away, and then with 2 strikes tried to lay one down up the first base line, and it spun off the cutoff. Passed the dirt up the line and bunted into a strikeout.
Man, crazy sometimes, you know, bunting on a 2-0, 3-0, 3-1 count. Those are the pitches that you want to swing away, maybe try and find a gap somewhere, but not Billy Hamilton. Especially with a man at second.
Garza ready with the payoff. Hamilton will waste one. Not a big hitter for average by any stretch. The on-base percentage still not what they would want to see at 297. Talked about if he could get that OBP back to more of a leadoff league average, which is about 330. Instead of 49 stolen bases, you're probably looking at 65 or whatever or more.
Yeah, right.
3-2 again. A little carry out of play.
It's always been the big thing with guys like Hamilton that can run like they can. Getting on base. You know, that on base percentage needs to be good. You know, long gone are the days of Ricky Henderson with that, you know, 450 on base percentage, whatever it might have been. You know, 420, 430. You don't see that much anymore. Maybe a guy or 2 in the league. Votto's up there, but you know, guys that can run like Billy Hamilton, putting the ball in play is imperative.
8th pitch of the at-bat coming up here. Garza versus Hamilton. Has hit a little better since the All-Star break. Not great. Was pretty strong after the break last year. In fact, his on-base percentage last season after the All-Star break was nearly 370. He turned it up. Tucker Barnhart, the runner at second. 9th pitch coming in the at-bat. Loses Hamilton, so Hamilton on for the 2nd time already this afternoon, and the Reds have a little something going. Runners at first and second with 1 out.
And the homestand continues with a 2-game series against the Pirates. That starts on Tuesday night at 6:40, and on Wednesday afternoon it's a 1:10 start. Check out the Crew's complete upcoming schedule and reserve your tickets at Brewers.com today.
Not sure how much payback applies in the world of pro sports, but Brewers owe the Pirates a little bit here.
Yeah.
They go take a couple from them after losing 4 straight at PNC Park.
I didn't realize that Wednesday was a day game.
It's good you know now.
Not that it matters to you, because you're not going to be here anyway.
Well,
but
I'd be
I like
texting
that.
you. There's a ground ball to VR. Flips to Sogard for 1. On the Kings for a double play. No one turns more in the National League than the Milwaukee Brewers. They just turned one for the 128th time. Big man bats coming up. Thames, Braun, Walker. As we move to the bottom of the 3rd, 3-0 Brew Crew. Garza in the top half of this inning. 3-0 Brewers lead the Reds as Eric Thames will stroll to the plate to lead things off. Continues to tee off against Reds pitching. That was Friday night, a 3-run blast to help get the Brewers back into the fight. And then last night he goes opposite field. Powerball home run count. Thames with 26 of them so far this year. Leads things off in the bottom of the third against Sal Romano. Thames struck out looking in the first inning this afternoon. Three runs in the first for the Crew. Romano retired the Brewers in order in the second. And Thames, one hopper backing up Jeanette for out number one. The Reds must breathe a sigh of relief every time they retire Eric Thames.
Yeah.
They might do it if they just give up a single. It was an early season trip, first trip the Reds took in here back maybe into April, early May, whatever. He had pounded out a couple of long balls, and there was a Reds fan sitting behind the dugout here at Miller Park, held up the sign, "Don't pitch to Thames."
Yeah, good idea. Yeah, the Brewers swept that series against Cincinnati here back in April, end of April.
Took 3 out of 4 in Cincy in the middle of April. Got off to a very good start against their Central Division rivals. And here's Ryan Braun shooting one into the gap. Right center field. Bangs off the wall. Braun digging for two. Going to be close. He's in there. A double. His second in as many at bats.
Yep, one to left, one to right. Well, he is really seeing it well right now. Centering on a lot of different pitches. And must be a lot of fun showing up to the ballpark when you're seeing a baseball like Ryan is right now. Well, there's a fastball, maybe a cutter, not sure, but he left it up in the zone, and Ryan able to hammer it out there into the gap. Yeah, Billy Hamilton, of course, got to it quickly and made a pretty good throw and made it close at second base. Reds outfielders lead the National League in assists.
They have 30 of them, 10 each for Hamilton and Adam Duvall. And Braun is running Romano the throw, and they've got Braun by a lot. Second out made, trying to get the third.
Yeah, just trying too much, trying too hard. Yeah, thinking that Romano's not even going to look at him, and he is a sitting duck at third base.
So now the bases are empty. 2 men out for Neil Walker, who singled to right in the first inning. Advanced on an error from right fielder Jesse Winker. Ball a strike to Walker, playing third base in his first day as a Brewer. See the home run total, all as a left-handed hitter. In his career, he has gotten it done. The power numbers against right-handed pitching. .23 home runs he hit for the Mets last year. That matched a career high. He had 23 in 2014 against the Pirates. Romano with a 1-2. And Walker is 2 for 2 as a Brewer. Oh, that David Stearns knows how to make a move, huh?
Yeah, he can hit. I mean, we've seen it many, many times. And although it's been a down season for him, he started to heat up in the last few games with the Mets. And that continues today. In his last 3 games, including today, 8 hits for Walker. Able to center on a high fastball this time and punch it into center field.
Hit number 5 for the Brewers. Walker has 2 of them, and here is Domingo Santana. Montana struck out of the first inning. Romano has fanned 3 so far. Brewers making him work in the first inning, and then here in the third, a couple of hits, but BRAUN caught trying to steal third. Second time Romano has seen the Brewers. Last year just 3 innings against them in his major league debut in April. 1-1 pitch. This is popped up. Backing up is Scooter Gennett. He'll squeeze it for out number 3. And that's it for the Brewers. We are through 3. Brewers trying to win the series. Off to a good start. 33-0.
And the Reds here at Miller Park this afternoon, a 3-0 lead for Milwaukee as we head to the 4th. And time for our T-Mobile Unlimited baseball break. Albert Pujols last night helps the Angels win their 5th straight. He had the go-ahead RBI double in the 8th. And with that winning streak, they have now surged up the wild card standings and are in the 2nd spot in the American League. And a great news for Chad Bettis. He last made his start in September of last year against the Brewers, and he's scheduled to make his season debut tomorrow against the Braves, battling testicular cancer. And we saw that earlier this season as well with Pirates starter Jameson Taillon. So great to see Chad Bettis heading back to the mound tomorrow.
All right, Sophia, thank you very much. It absolutely good to see him back to health and back to doing what he loves to do. Had Garza off to a nice start. He's given up just a couple of hits so far. He will face Joey Votto. The fly ball to Ryan Braun in the first inning. On base percentage of .445. Has been strong throughout. Last couple of years he had really tough starts to his seasons. Turned it up in a big way in the second half of last year. He has numbers this year that are very reminiscent of his MVP season of 2010. A lot of power. Driven in 83 runs.
Well, he got a chance for 40 home runs and well over 100 RBIs for Votto. Got off to a bit of a slow start in April, but then turned it on a little bit sooner this year than he did a year ago.
Yeah, a year ago it took him quite a while to get things in gear. 5-time All-Star, including this season. Leads the league in walks, which he has done 4 times previously in his career. You see, you just have a guy who's going to get you numbers. Known for drawing the walks, getting on base, but there's some power that goes along with it. That MVP season, he had 37 homers and drove in 113. Here's a 3-1. Curveball missed, and Votto is on. Remember, he has that 17-game hitting streak, and he has reached twice in each of those 17 games. Hey, Brewers fans, if you can't watch the games on TV, you can stream them live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go. Download the app, take Fox Sports Wisconsin and Brewers baseball with you wherever you go.
That's some good promo reading, partner.
I do what I can.
You are. You're something. You're the best.
Getting into shape for the fall.
Yeah, you got a bunch of them, do you?
Bunch of them. Yeah. In fact, if you want to, stop by, we can send you 10 or 12. Here's Adam Duvall, fly ball deep into right field. Santana looking up, and that is out of here. A home run. Adam Duvall once again went deep early last night. 2-run shot this afternoon as the Reds pull within 1.
He's got big power at all fields. Again, the offense clicking on all cylinders for Cincinnati. A mistake by Garza. It was on the corner, but it was up, and Duvall certainly strong enough to get one down the line here at Miller Park. Just sneaking over that wall. 1-run game.
Battle of teams who know how to hit the ball out of the ballpark. Reds with 167 of them now. The Brewers with 170. A walk and a bomb has the Reds right back in it. Fourth and final year of Garza's contract with the Brewers. His best effort, you could say, came against the Reds back in 2014. Here's Scooter Gennett with a liner into right field. Santana makes the catch. Picked it off the grass for out number 1.
They got a bit of a late break. Scooter Gennett is flying into second base, not realizing he was called out. The Reds are taking a look at it in the clubhouse, satisfied that it's an out. See, does he get the glove underneath? Yes, he does. And he holds on. Good catch.
Nice play, much needed. The first out of the inning. Here is Eugenio Suarez. Strikeout victim in the second inning. Count evens, a ball, a strike. You mentioned that outing that Garza had. It's the one complete game he has had as a Brewer. That was back on July 5th, 2014. Went the distance, a 2-hit shutout against the Reds. Walked just a couple, struck out 9. So you don't see complete games the way you used to, but he spun a beauty on that warm July afternoon in Cincinnati.
Yeah, especially there, right? Hitter's Ballpark. Had his curveball that day, and that's normally when he has his best games, when that curveball is working, particularly this year. I haven't seen too many of them so far today. That was a pitch that was working for him really well against the Cardinals.
Second start this year against the Reds, a no decision back in April. And that actually was his season debut. Remember, he began the year on the disabled list. 4 innings out of him. Brewers winning in an offensively charged game, as is often the case between these two teams. 11-7 was the final on that night. Full count now to Suarez. Walk to Votto, opposite field homer from Duvall. Putting the Reds on the board in the 4th. Here's the 3-2. Lost him. Second walk of the inning given up by Garza, and his 3rd of the day.
All about location for Matt these days. He's not the hard thrower that he used to be. That's been well documented. We talk about it a lot. He's got to be on the corners, and when he's able to throw that curveball, like I was just saying, and then establish inside with the fastball, that's normally a good sign for him. Having a difficult time with that fastball in the right-handed batters so far today.
He'll face Jose Peraza in the lineup for the first time this weekend for Cincinnati. Peraza came over part of the 3-team trade with the Dodgers and the White Sox. Todd Frazier part of that trade. And one of the reasons why they eventually moved Brandon Phillips. Peraza playing shortstop this afternoon. Play a lot of second, but Scooter Gennett, that bat of his, makes him a regular in the lineup. There's that curveball from Garza.
Not exactly where you want to leave it inside, but he got the call.
Two strikes and nothing to Jose Peraza. Hits him on an 0-2 pitch. Some trouble for Matt Garza here in this 4th inning. Mentioned the complete game 3 years ago. This year's Matt Garza, if you get 5 or 6, that's pretty good, and he has given his team that multiple times this season. He's pitched well more often than not. Bad outing obviously last time around against the Twins, but 5 or 6, I think you take it.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, longest outing for him was back on May 6th at Pittsburgh, 7 innings. He went 7 innings, only 86 pitches, so he really had his good command that day. Gave up 1 run. A 2-1 Brewers victory.
Three walks, a hit batsman, and a home run. And now Tucker Barnhart showing his home run power the last few days. Had that big bomb on Friday night. He's homered in 2 of his last 3 starts, and he has penciled in Brian Price's lineup this afternoon. Singled to right to begin the 3rd. Curveball is away. Garza out of some trouble in the last inning, getting a double play ground ball from Jesse Winker. Of the turn one here, the Brewers have turned 128 of them this season. They'll give him the corner and even the count of ball a strike.
Little off the corner.
Yeah, that's what I said. They'll give him the corner.
It, strike zone moving around a little bit.
We have seen that throughout, and there are some series where you see it a little more than others. The 1-1 that is hit well down the line in right field, and that is a foul ball. One and 2 the counts.
Just can't get that breaking pitch. The off-speed stuff down in the strike zone. It's up there, and Barnhart just a little bit out in front, not able to keep it fair.
Rugged inning here for Garza. Has used the term grind a lot this season, and that's what this is turning into this afternoon, trying to grind through this 4th inning. Suarez at second, Peraza the runner at first. The 1-2 to Barnhart. A very impressive bare hand catch just below us there.
Took it away from a guy that had a glove.
Who needs a glove?
Wow.
Comes back here hot.
There's been some nice catches in the stands tonight. I should say today.
Yeah, good fielding percentage so far.
Yeah, they one guy made a one-handed grab, didn't drop his beer.
That's important. You get extra defensive efficiency points for that.
You get another one for that.
Again, the 1-2.
See some great defense even in the stands.
I'm telling you, it's contagious. When you can catch a foul ball and not spill a drop, that's next level.
Right.
Big crowd here today, watching a team in the thick of a playoff chase. 2-2 pitch. Curve is fouled off. One of those things from the outside looking in, you say, yeah, it's great. Opening day, they'd be in the thick of it the middle of August. You take it if you're the Brewers, and you hear this. You know, Mark Ananazio talked about it with us on Friday night. Craig Counsell, now you're in it to win it. Go get it. It'll be tough. Got a red-hot Cardinals team right now. Got a Cubs team loaded with talent, but missing a very hot bat with the injury to Wilson Contreras. 2-2 pitch, and that'll be strike three. Much needed punch out from Matt Garza for the second out of the inning.
Man, Barthart really upset with himself for chasing that one. That pitch down in the dirt, the curveball, and Manny PINA able to keep it in front of him. That's not even close. And Barnhart tried to hold up, couldn't do it.
2 outs in this third inning. Matt has given up just the one hit, but it was a loud one. The 2-run homer from Adam Duvall. He's walked 2 and hit Jose Peraza on an 0-2 pitch. And now the pitcher, Sal Romano. Sacrifice bunts for Romano in the third inning. Here's the 1-0. Bouncing ball. That'll be Neil Walker putting away Romano, inning over. So Garza able to bounce back. Let's get on the board. Brewers lead 3-2. Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly, and by Toyota. Let's go places.
Back at Miller Park, Sunday afternoon baseball. New addition Neil Walker. The Brewers have a 3-2 lead here in the fourth. Time now for our minor league scouting report, brought to you by UW Whitewater Athletics. We take a look at what Brett Phillips has done for the Sky Sox since going back down last night. A big night for him at the plate. He went 4 for 5, a triple, 2 doubles. He finished a homer shy of the cycle. And you see the Sky Sox did lose that one 11-10, but since he's gone back down, he's just continued to rake. He's reached base safely in all 13 games and has 8 multi-hit games in that time.
He was a lot of fun to watch, and beyond those statistics, Manny PINA with a fly ball to left to begin the 4th inning. I mean, a cannon of an arm, incredible personality. That doesn't, win you points in your batting average or on base percentage, but it just doesn't seem to be too big for him when he's been up here. He hasn't been up here a lot, but he's been kind of fun.
That personality win you points up here with the announcers.
It absolutely does. Yeah, which is really what matters.
But he was swinging the bat well when he got sent down. It was just a numbers game, and Brent Phillips is going to be back here. I got to believe he's going to be back here in September, as well as he was swinging the bat. Had a couple of home runs before he got sent down. So yeah, this guy can play. It's not just the laugh that has made him famous these days.
No,
what was it? Swinging it
around the batting cage in D.C. He's bouncing around, singing songs, and just having a good old time. Full of energy and full of hits.
He was singing oldies too. That was surprising in Washington.
That was very impressive.
I mean, I didn't know he really knew any of those songs back in those days, but he was barking it out.
He was. Doesn't matter if it's the 60s or early 70s. He's all over it. Here's Eric Sogard, a ground ball to Peraza. That ended the 1st inning. And a liner down the line in right field. Eric Sogard has extra bases. Winker digging it out of the corner. Sogard turns second. Hines right at 3rd and a triple. Oh, I think nerd power is back.
Yeah, it was going for a while, but he's starting to swing it again. Not just the base hits, but drawing walks again. First triple of the year, and there's that spike curve that we've been seeing a lot from Romano, and didn't get it down far enough, and just inside the right field line. Joey Votto almost able to knock that one down, but a little trouble in the corner for Winker, and the relay too late. Brewers need some insurance.
Chance to get it right here. Opportunity for Hernan Perez. Grounded out his first trip to the plate. Brewers getting their 3 runs in the 1st. Reds getting back into the game in the top half of this inning on the Adam Duvall 2-run homer. 40 RBIs for Perez so far this year. Reds bring the infield in.
I would think these guys show up on Sunday and just kind of strap it on and play. Just because there's no batting practice on the field doesn't mean they're working. I was walking from the pregame set, down to the elevator to get up here. I saw it was about 1:45, and Perez was walking in the batting cage to get some extra swings right before the game. So just trying to fine-tune that swing for situations just like this.
It's all those things most folks don't see. Right? Part of the fun of coming to the ballpark, if you can, is to catch a little BP. But Sunday, that is often not the case, but it doesn't mean they're just lounging around waiting for first pitch. Like Perez trying to get himself a second hit in this series and drive in Eric Sogard from 3rd. 2-1. Sogard's running. Squeeze play on. Perez gets the bunt down, and Sogard is in. Ooh. A little self-defense from Hernan Perez, and it worked perfectly. He's okay, and Sogard scores.
Beautiful job by Hernan Perez. That ball is either going to be bunted or he's going to eat it. One of the two. Boy, scary. Check this out. Up and in. That ball coming right in on him, and he's able to drop it down. That could have easily been a pop-up and a double play, but Perez able to get on top of it, drop it down, and he'll get the RBI and a sacrifice.
One of the most exciting plays in the game, and it was made a little bit too exciting there for Hernan Perez.
But you know what? That's what pitchers are supposed to do. When you see a guy taking off like that, you're supposed to go up and in to get the hitter out of the way. Perez not able to get out of the way, but able to drop the bunt down.
Two-run lead now for the Brewers as Matt Garza is at the plate, and he strikes out to end the inning. But the Brewers do get an insurance run. Squeeze bunt from Perez. Now 4-2 Milwaukee.
Now as we head to the 5th here at Miller Park, and later tonight Matt Garza will be joined by over 20 players and coaches for the Brewers bowling event. Fans will enjoy a silent auction and of course bowling with Brewers players and coaches while raising money for the Joy House, a homeless shelter for women and their children. The Joy House is one of the facilities that is part of the Milwaukee Rescue Mission. So well done to Garza for hosting that event. Certainly it'll be a lot of fun. The guys have custom bowling balls ready to go for the event, so I'm sure they'll be having a blast later tonight.
Absolutely. Hopefully going out there after a win here today. But you're right. Hats off to Matt for doing that once again this year.
We've done that, what now, 3-4 years now?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. You going? You bowling?
You know, it's been a long time. How about you?
No,
a long time since I bowled.
I can't bowl. You ain't got that trick knee.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
you don't want to get hurt.
Actually, the elbow. You know, it's not conducive for a, what is it, 16-pound bowling ball.
You are correct. Bowling's big up here. Bigger I came from too, in Ohio. But I retired, kind of like golf. When you retire, you come back. You retire, you come back. Kind of like BA, the scratch golfer that he is. Who's calling golf, by the way, this week, at the end of the PGA Championship. He'll be back here on Tuesday.
Yeah.
You're getting ready for the barbs for BA when he returns. Here's Billy Hamilton, a roller to VR, and they get Hamilton for the first time this afternoon.
Yeah, big deal to get him out. A good curveball from Garza to get him on an easy ground ball.
It was Jesse Winker. Garza giving up a couple of runs in the 4th inning, walked a couple, hit a batter. Nice clean 2nd inning. They're going to repeat that here in the top of the 5th as he misses with a curve. Trying to keep the trend going. His home road splits. They're much more friendly here at Miller Park. And another chance for VR. That will be out number 2.
Hey, news for all you Game of Thrones fans out there. Tuesday is a big night. You know, the Brewers battle the Pirates, and all fans who purchase a special Game of Thrones night ticket package will get a King Bernie Iron Throne bobblehead.
This is, one of the more impressive. You mentioned it last night, Rock, that this is, right along the lines of like coverage you get, like BA does all the time. This is like robbing you out on the motorcycle. I'm getting you ready. That's all. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah, it's up there. One of my favorites. I am a Game of Thrones fan.
I know.
Yep.
You catch up all during the off season when you have a little time on your hands. You catch each episode
right after the Badger football radio broadcast.
You're the one.
I'll be listening.
September 1st, you'll be busy. You'll be here watching the Brewers play the Nationals. Joey Votto at the plate, 2-0 the count. But yeah, looking forward to it.
Who are they playing?
They will play Utah State.
Okay.
Will be the lid lifter to the season. The Aggies.
Give us a scouting report this year on Bucky.
I can give you a general one. I've seen two or three more practices than you have so far. But I think they'll be good. Good offensive line, good depth, front seven. Be very good. Tough week. They lost arguably their best linebacker, a young man named Jack Sitchie, torn ACL. I feel terrible for him. He's a pro.
Yeah, he was going to be drafted, huh?
Yeah, and then get himself ready, and hopefully there's a pro future for him. I think there will be. Strike the Votto 3-1 the count, but they have the makings of being pretty good. I'm almost hesitant to go too far with it because last year the schedule, was so daunting.
Yeah.
This year the pundits say the schedule is more favorable. It's a little scary to walk that path, but they'll be solid.
You're not in the predicting game?
No, well, not anymore.
Yeah.
I tried something a few days ago. I didn't go very well. So I'm done. Full count now to Votto. Although if things break right today, I could end up being close.
Right.
We'll leave it at that.
You're going to leave him hanging?
Yeah, because I'm sure all of Brewers Nation. What did we talk?
We'll bring it back up on Tuesday.
There's ball 4. And breaking news: Joey Votto just draws a walk.
Yeah, didn't miss by much. Boy. So close, right off the outside corner, and Joey Votto acting as though he knew it was a ball all the way, and that could have been rung up. We've seen pitches out there called strikes today.
He has an eye unlike almost anybody else in the game. And that is walk number 95. A strike to Adam Duvall. But the Reds back into this an inning ago. There's a retired Hamilton and Winker on ground balls to second. Count is even to Duvall. Ball strike. It's home run number 27 for Duvall that he hit in the 4th. A couple of them out of the yard here this weekend. The 1-1. So inside with a fastball.
Yeah, that's where you want to leave that. I mean, if you're going to try and catch the inside corner, you'd rather leave it in off the plate than leave it out over the plate. Those are the ones that end up in the seats.
To 1 pitch. And that is hit in the air to right field, but BRAUN will have it trapped. Inning over. No runs, 1 left. Halfway through, it's 4-2 Milwaukee.
score in baseball this afternoon. No surprise, it's Giancarlo Stanton yet again, his 42nd home run of the season. This one, a solo home run in the third, and it would tie Gary Sheffield's franchise record of 42 home runs. He did that in 1996, and for Stanton, it was a milestone home run for him as well, number 250 of his career. So the numbers just continue to blow you away with Stanton. That's now 21 home runs for him in the last 33 games.
So that's ridiculous. Well, we're talking about this every day or every night, depending on when the Brewers play. It's just game after game.
And all of them tape measures.
Yeah, no cheapies.
No.
Top of the order for the Brewers against Sal Romano. Jonathan VR showing bunt, pulling back, and takes a strike. 1-1 the count. VR today, a walk and a strikeout. Brewers with 6 hits, the Reds with 3. Cincinnati has stranded 5 runners. Start number 8 for the Reds rookie pitcher Sal Romano. 2-1 pitch to VR. VR followed by Thames and then Brian Braun in the bottom of the 5th. Encouraging to see these bats come back to life. Friday night, last night, putting 6 on the board after a 10-run evening on Friday. And VR down the line and left. That'll be a base hit. Big turn, VR digging for second. And he is in with a double.
Gotta love it. Man, they had him over toward the hole, giving him the line, and he's just able to push it in that direction. Good job by VR. He's been on a couple of times. A leadoff double with the big boys coming up. There's that 2-seam fastball going away from him. Stays right on. He's doing a much better job of that right now. Goes with it down the left field line for a leadoff 2-bagger. Well, he's heating up just at the right time. Got to be careful jumping up off the bag like that, though. I mean, you keep that tag on, they call you out these days.
We're going to have ourselves a review, in fact.
Is that what they're going to look at?
Let's see. Our first review of the day.
See, he hit the bag, he jumped up, he came off the bag and then came back down. Now, if the tag was still on him, he's going to be out. I'm not sure if that's what they're looking at, but I can't imagine anything else they'd be looking at. Right here, up, tags him. I think they might be calling him out.
Right. Jeanette kept the tag applied there.
Tag is on. He's a foot up off the ground. If it is, he's out.
A little bit difficult from that particular angle, but you see Scooter, what he was doing right away. Okay, let's check this. Let's check this.
That's close.
Very close. And then
it is close. I thought it was pretty obvious initially, but looking at the scoreboard here at the ballpark, it looked like VR might have had the other foot down on the ground before he got tagged. Wasn't a whole lot of time when neither one of his feet were on the base.
See if there is enough material there to cause an overturn. It's right on the edge.
Yeah.
We had a review last night that took a little more than 3 minutes. 2 is the goal.
Not sure if his foot was ever off the bag. If it is, he might be out. There you go. Safe.
All right.
So let that be a lesson to you. Can't be doing it anymore. Scooter Gennett doing a good job keeping the tag on. He had a problem with that as a Brewer. Holding tags.
Right. The call will stand, and that took 1:57 on the review. But yeah, definitely a teaching point there for not just VR, any runner. Going in hard to the bag. So it is a leadoff double for VR, and here is Eric Thames looking for his first hit of the day.
Got him.
And it's clipped. And hit batsman here. And the Brewers have him at first and second. Both pitchers have walked to batter.
Trying to work him inside and got a piece of the elbow pad.
Perfect place to hit him. The protection is very ample there for Thames. Left arm, and here's Ryan Braun as he continues to swing a red-hot bat. 8-game hitting streak now, 17 for 31 in that stretch. Throughout his career, he has worn out Reds pitching. For more than a week now, he has been making some big-time contact.
Yep, double to left, double to center. Actually right center. Hitting the ball all over the diamond.
Romano with a 1-0.
And the one thing you want to concentrate on with Ryan Braun, watch the way he gets on top of these pitches away and drives them into right field. Not many guys can do that. A lot of guys will get under him, but Ryan Braun has the unique ability to keep that bat up, top down, and gets on top of the baseball with backspin. He hits him like a left-handed pull hitter. That is a skill that not many have in this game. His ability to go to right with authority.
What he's done in the course of this hitting streak, which today reaches 8 games. He's in a sweet spot. The count now 2-0 against Sal Romano. Takes a look at strike one.
Very inconsistent on the plate today. That probably was a little bit better of a pitch than the one that was called a ball to Joey Votto. He walked.
2-1 the count. In the dirt, and they'll try to catch VR, but Barnhart's throw not in time. Trying to be like Manny.
Yeah. Scooter takes that throw way in front of the bag. I'm not sure what the benefit of that is.
A little game there with VR. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Braun. A swing and a miss.
Maybe his best breaking pitch right there, getting Braun. Yeah, Ryan had a 2-0 count. Borderline strikes for Romano to get back in the count. And that might have been his best curveball of the day right there.
Brings it hard, upper 80s. Check out Walker's day at the plate, presented by Wendy's. First 2 at-bats as a Brewer, a couple of singles. He scored a run. He's now 8 of his last 10 going back to his last couple of games as a Met. Remember, Walker missed about a month and a half with a hamstring injury, and it took some time to get back into the groove. He, in fact, was 4 for 35. Came off the DL in late July. He is heating up these last 3 games. RBI opportunity for him here. The 1-0. Sends it the other way and into the seats. Here's his day, Neil Walker. New into town and making some friends with his base hit the right field. A got by Jesse Winker, a run scored, and showing his ability defensively too in the lineup at third this afternoon.
Yeah, hadn't played too much at third base. You don't have many plays like that at second. Well done.
Ball a strike to Walker with VR, the runner at second, and Thames at first. Chance to stretch this lead. Brewers picked up a run of the fourth and a squeeze bunt from Hernan Perez. It scored Eric Sogard. Just checking in. The Brewers making the move for Walker for a player to be named. Brent Suter placed on the 10-day disabled list. Rotator cuff strain. Michael Blazek designated for assignment.
Yeah, making room on the 40-man.
2 balls, 1 strike to Walker. Power comes from the left side for the new Brewer. And a ground ball to Jeanette. He'll have trouble getting it out of his glove. They'll get the play at first. As the runners move up, there are 2 men out. The Brewers at second and third. Scooter trying to maybe start a double play there, but just couldn't get the ball out of his mitt.
Yeah, it would have been a tough double play to turn, and Scooter doing the right thing, able to get the out at first. You want to get the shore out. I mean, that would have been a tough throw anyway.
Here's Domingo Santana. Getting on base in this series, but he scuffled here at the plate in his homestand. Chance to come out of it now. He is 2 for 17 on the stand. He's been consistent at the plate really since about the end of April. He has had a steady year, as you can see by the numbers. The RBI total trailing only Travis Shaw. See if he can add to it. There's a fly ball back to the right center field, and it is gone! 3-run homer for Domingo Santana, and it's 7-2. Brew.
Tremendous power to the opposite field. It was supposed to be inside. You can see Barnhart reaching out down the middle of the plate, and Santana knocks it out of here to right center. Nice easy swing. There's some insurance runs for Matt Garza.
Followed by the ever popular gauntlet.
Gauntlet followed by the water slide.
There's Manny Pina.
They added that, the water thing. What was that, last road trip, or is it before that? I forget what it was.
Yeah, maybe a little bit before that, but they're adding a little style to it.
Yeah, what are they going to add next? I can only guess.
Last night the Brewers, up until the wild pitch, the first 5 runs they produced via the homer, and 3-run bomb today. The first home run, or the first run, is produced by a big fly. Is what they do. Bench coach Pat Murphy having a little fun with Santana. The ball, 2 strikes to Pina. And he went around and worked him under the hands, and the inning is over. 6 strikeouts now for Romano, but the Brewers put 3 on the board. Brought to you by Domingo Santana. Goes the other way against Sal Romano to give the Brew Crew a 5-run lead through 5. Santana with the bomb, and Bernie with a quick trip down his slide. Lead the Cincinnati Reds. Domingo Santana playing long ball. Let's check out the Powerball home run leaderboard. Eric Thames still at the top. Couple this weekend. 27 on the year. Travis Shaw at 25. Number 19 for Santana. And you see Broxton and BRAUN wrapping it up. Well, it's Sunday, and that's what Domingo Santana does. Domingo big on Sunday. 7 bombs.
7 of the 19 he's hit this year.
BA was all over that a couple of Sundays ago. Here is Scooter Gennett leading off the 6th inning. Looking for his first hit here this afternoon. Gennett a ground ball to third and a liner to right. A lot about Gennett's power numbers this year with the 19 homers and 66 RBIs, but hitting for average, getting on base effectively. 291 average, 339 on base percentage. Check out that OPS at 873. Enjoying playing half of his games at Great American Ballpark. Good for him. He certainly showed the ability to drive the ball out of here in his time as a Brewer.
It's a big inning for Matt Garza. They like to be able to get the Reds up and down quickly. Team's taken into a 5-run lead. You don't want to get them back in the game here.
Pitch count at 82. Busiest day Garza has had in terms of pitch count this season. In fact, it's the only triple-digit outing. That came against the Orioles on July 5th. 6 1/3 shutout innings. Gave up 5 hits. His spot due up third in the bottom half of the inning.
I should figure this might be it for him. Empty the tank.
Gennett pops it foul. That had a run of outings where he'd get you 5 or 6. You go back toward the end of June, but in July. Good outings against the Orioles and 2 against the Phillies. 1 here, 1 there. Get you 5 innings, give up a run, maybe 2. Last home start against the Cardinals, he was effective through 5 2/3, gave up just a run, but he walks Gennett to lead off the 6th.
Yeah, 5th walk for him. 5 walks, 3 hits for Garza. That's a sure way of finding yourself out of the game. You start walking leadoff batters with a lead. Oliver Drake getting loose.
Brewers bullpen was money last night. Josh Hader, Corey Knebel. For that matter, it was pretty good on Friday, led by Jeremy Jeffress, who gave Counsell 2 1/3.
Yep. Yeah, allowed the Brewers to get back in the game. Kept the Reds off the board for 2 1/3, and good job. How about that? I mean, yesterday the Brewers used 2 relievers for 5 innings. 3 for Hader, 2 for Knebel. It's unusual.
It is.
This day and age. 5 innings, sometimes you go through 5 pitchers.
Josh Hader, 5 strikeouts in 3 innings of work. Little check swing. That's going to stay fair. Thames looks over at second, but Gennett able to get there. The sure out is at first, and that's out number 1. Back to last night and Hader's work. Here he is against Suarez. I mean, he had the velocity back. I mentioned it might have been down a tick the previous outing, but it was back up there. Watch this. This is Joey Votto. And he made Votto look pretty bad. And then Knebel comes in, a closer and a non-save. It's a tie ball game, Rock, but he gave his team 2 strong innings.
Yeah, picked up a win. Brewers bullpen outstanding. You know, Josh Hader's given up 2 runs in 25 and a third innings, all out of the bullpen so far this year.
Been tremendous.
Yeah, that's a .71 earned run average.
That'll work.
I think the bullpen's been pretty good, using him out of the pen.
It's Jose Peraza. He was hit on an 0-2 pitch in the 4th inning. And he bloops one into right field. That's going to be a base hit. Jeanette will be held up at third as Santana rifles one back into the infield. The Reds have runners at the corners with 1 out. Dangerous hitter at the plate. Hot one. Tucker Barnhart.
Yeah, you got Barnhart, then the pitcher's spot. You figure that Ryan Price is going to go to the bench. You would figure that Craig Counts would like to see Garza get through the next 2 hitters and then save Drake for the top of the order. You got a bunch of left-handers coming up.
There you see a little double barrel there with Jeffress and Oliver Drake.
Probably getting ready is Jeffress for Cozart. Cozart's on the on-deck circle. Trying to get Jeffress ready for Cozart if need be. Barring a double play ball. That's why you see Derek Johnson out there stalling for time.
The Brewers in the bottom of the 5th push the lead out to 5 runs, but the Reds, you've seen it, they know how to put runs on the board as well. So important point here of this Sunday afternoon. Barnhart has 5 home runs on the season, but a couple of them have come in the last 3 starts for Barnhart, including Friday night here at Miller Park. He has also grounded into 10 double plays on the year. Brewers have turned 1 so far today, and Barnhart rifles one just foul.
Second time he's just missed that right field line. And by a couple of feet.
Known first and foremost for his work behind the plate, but bats start to come around for him.
Hitting around 270, nothing wrong with that. Not a big run producer, but that's not what he's paid to do.
In the 8 hole in the lineup for Cincinnati. The 1-strike pitch that requires a block from Pina. We'll see if Garza can work through this inning. Led off by walking Jeanette. Now stands at third. Peraza a single a moment ago.
And not sure if he's going to steal or not, but he's got 15 stolen bases. And he can run 15 out of 20.
Good young talent, this Reds team. Jose Peraza, 1-1 pitch. Scoring inning for the Reds so far today was the 4th, a 2-run homer from Adam Duvall that followed a walk to Votto, an inning where Garza walked a couple and hit a batter. 2-1 pitch to Barnhart. Sends it out of play. Reds have needed to use Barnhart a lot the last couple of years because of the ongoing injury issues with Devin Mesoraco. 115 games last year. This is game number 87 for Barnhart this season. His 74th start behind the plate. The year began late for Mesoraco. Multiple surgeries the last couple of years, but back into the fold now. Saw him start last night. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, Barnhart is a switch hitter, and he's much better as a left-handed batter. Hitting .284 as a left-hander and under .200 as a right-handed hitter.
Two balls, 2 strikes. 1 out here in inning number 6. And that gets by Pina. Here comes Jeanette, and he will score. Road is behind Garza, and moving all the way to third is Peraza. Well, wild one scores Jeanette. And Peraza gets an extra base on an errant toss.
Yeah, so much for the double play possibility. That didn't go well. And a breaking ball in dirt. I think if Manny had it do over again, he'd probably just hold on to this and not flip to Garza. And he gives the flip. Garza not able to grab it, never even touched it actually. And that puts Peraza at third base with only 1 out.
A wild pitch plus an error charged to Pina. 7-3 game and a full count to Tucker Barnhart. Big pitch coming up right here with Zach Cozart on deck. The payoff and a base hit to center field. That'll score Peraza, and back comes Cincinnati. 7-4 now.
Yep, and now they got Cozart coming up, then the top of the order. That's probably going to be it for Garza.
Here comes the manager, going to make the move now.
It's always an important inning when your team gets you 3 runs, you're staked to a 5-run lead, and got to put a 0 up. Garza not able to do it.
The Reds chipping away, getting right back in it. It's Garza struggling here in the inning. 1 out. Pitching change at Miller Park with the Brewers leading Cincinnati 7-4. Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light beer. A little power for the Brewers in Domingo Santana, but Matt Garza unable to work through the 6th inning as he has given up a couple of runs. There you see the line for Garza this afternoon. Tucker Barnhart, his responsibility, the runner at first base, as Craig Counsell makes a move. And calls on Jeremy Jeffress.
Well, he pitched on Friday against the Reds. We already talked about it. 2 1/3 scoreless innings that included 3 strikeouts. You know, in that appearance, that was a career high 46 pitches for him. He'd never thrown that many pitches in any one outing. And we'll see how that affects him here today. You got to figure it's 1 and out for Jeffress here with Zach Cozart at the plate.
He's facing a hot hitter, Cozart. He's homered in each of his last 3 games. And there's a liner over to third, snagged by Neil Walker for the 2nd out.
Yeah, maybe Clerk Counts will let it ride with Billy Hamilton here, but this is probably going to be the last hitter. You got 2 lefties coming up.
Winker and Votto following. They'll let him work against Hamilton, it looks like. Sometimes that gets lost in a high scoring game. The work of Jeremy Jeffress. He had to come in early in that ball game. Jimmy Nelson was unable to work through the 4th inning, but Jeffress helped keep things stable after a very unstable first few innings and gave the home team a chance to mount a rally. Bullpen that night was good. Torres gave up a home run to Barnhart. That was obviously a big one, but Jared Hughes, Jacob Barnes had scoreless outings.
Yeah, there's not a comeback if the bullpen doesn't keep the Reds off the board, right? Jeffress doing a good job on Friday.
The ball, a strike to Hamilton. There's a bouncing ball to Jonathan Villar, the force at second. And that's some pretty good work by Jeremy Jeffress, moving off those Reds bats. 7-4 Milwaukee. And it gets away from Barnhart. Here comes Sunday. It's over. Thank you and good night. Second time this season the Brewers have walked it off via a wild pitch. Eric Sogard, who had a double in the gap in left center, got that 10th inning started, and then with 2 strikes on Ryan Braun, Tim Adelman uncorked the wild one, and guess who's on the mound now for Cincinnati?
Hey, we had threw a curveball to Ryan Braun on a 0-2 pitch last night, and that's the pitch that got away from Tucker Barnhart. Now he's going at it again. He's been a starter just about the entire year. You can see that record, 5-10, earned run average over 5, and You figure Brian Price wants a couple innings out of his right-hander here today.
So Price gives Adelman a chance to snap back. Did the same thing with Blake Wood last night. Wood couldn't get a hitter out on Friday night. He faced 5 hitters and they all reached, and Price went back to Wood for an inning last night, and it was an inning where he kept the Brewers off the board. So Adelman here faces Eric Sogard, who tripled his last at bat. That was in the 4th inning. Sal Romano goes 5, 8 hits, 7 runs, 6 are earned. Sogard fouls it out of play. That starting to come back around here these last couple ball games for Sogard. I mentioned Neil Walker coming off his hamstring injury. Took him a while to get going. A little bit of a similar story with Sogard off the ankle injury.
Yeah, Craig Counsell wasn't getting a whole lot of production out of the second base spot for a while. Sogard DL'd, and after he came back, not doing a whole lot. VR has been struggling all season. That's what prompted the trade for Neil Walker.
The fly ball out to center field. Right to Billy Hamilton for out number 1.
Hey, just a reminder that Wednesday is another Kids and Seniors discount day. The Brewers and Pirates close out their 2-game series with an afternoon game, and all kids 14 and under, as well as seniors 60 and above, can get their tickets for 50% off. Visit Brewers.com for tickets and details.
It's another reminder for you that it is an afternoon game on Wednesday.
Yeah,
caught you by surprise.
I'm excited about that. You know, afternoon game Friday, off day Thursday, and before the team goes to the West Coast.
Good. Here's Hernan Perez. First pitch swing, a nice stop by Suarez for out number 2.
Team gets a day and a half off, actually.
Almost like a vacation.
Now, do you call, going to Colorado, the West Coast?
I would just say west.
Go west.
Go west.
Go west, young man. Yep.
Then you'll go to the coast.
So actually a day and a half off before the team heads west.
Not going to know what to do with yourself.
It's all about accuracy, I mean, I get beat up for saying stuff like West Coast when we're going to Colorado. So just want to make sure we got that correct.
Now, who would beat you up? Oh, never mind.
Yeah, I have a feeling they're beating you up a little bit today.
They are. I was warned a couple hours ago.
I'll find
where
producer
you
and
out
director
today.
down in that production truck.
Yeah, not to name names, Vito. Orlando Arcia leading things off. Brent Reeland, our producer. Mark Vittorio, our director. One pitch to Arcia. Pinch hitting.
Now, today's your last day, and we appreciate all your good work. Our director, Mark Vittorio, this is his last game for a long, long time.
For a while, yeah.
Yep.
We'll always miss the advice that Vito gives you. The encouragement,
sarcasm, and the great pictures to go with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
There is that. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Arcia. And a swing and a miss, and Tim Adelman comes in here and retires the side. A fly ball, a ground ball, and a punch out. And we are through 6. Brewers trying to take 2 out of 3 and leading 7-4. Brewers have had some impressive debuts this season. This is Eric Sogard saying hello to the right field seat. Stephen Vogt going deep a couple of times in his Miller Park debut as a Milwaukee Brewer. And today, Neil Walker, first couple of at-bats, singles for the third baseman today. We'll see a lot of them at second moving on, but these new Brewers making very favorable early impressions, and that includes number 15 there, Neil Walker.
You only get one chance, you know.
I've heard that.
To make a first impression.
He is making it work. Orlando Arcia in the game at short. And now Jacob Barnes on the mound.
Yeah, he threw a scoreless inning on Friday against these Reds. Gave a hit, a strikeout. And Jacob with a .421 earned run average in game number 56. And Craig Counsell very comfortable in this situation in the 7th inning with a lead.
And Jesse Winker going right after Jacob Barnes, and a base hit for the Reds right fielder. And now Joey Votto. Couple of walks here this afternoon, but he has reached safely at least twice in 18 straight games.
And those are good numbers, but what it comes down to is runs and RBIs, right? You know, Votto, he's having a decent series, but he has not driven in a run in this weekend series.
You're right. Mentioned walked twice today, walked twice yesterday, a couple of intentional walks, and another walk on top of it. 83 RBIs for Votto this year. Takes that borderline pitch, as he did his last plate appearance. 3-2 pitch just off the plate. Two balls, no strikes. There's a ground ball to VR. Chance for two. Arcia one, and there's two. 4-6-3.
Yeah, good fastball up in the zone, and Barnes able to get in on him. That was 97 miles an hour up and in. And he pitched normally that Joey Votto was going to take. And being aggressive, trying to drive the baseball somewhere, and ends up rolling into a double play.
Second double play turn by the Brewers this afternoon. Adam Duvall, who homered in the 4th inning when opposite field against Matt Garza. They got the Reds on the board after the Brewers jumped to an early 3-0 lead. Duvall with a couple of home runs in the series and 27 on the year. Barnes ahead in the count, 2 strikes and nothing.
Yeah, the equalizer right there, that cutter. And when he's got that going, he's getting swings on that. He's going to have some good outings.
See Barnes get back into that role. It's been up and down for him. The Reds off the board when he was called upon Friday night. Gave up runs in the previous 2 outings. 2-strike pitch to Duvall, and that bounces in front of the plate. Brewers trying to win this series and get back to 2 games better than 500. They're 60-59 coming in. But only 2 games behind the Cubs and Cardinals. Cardinals have caught fire. 1-2 pitch.
Braves are beating him right now.
Yes, they are. 5-1 in the 8th inning in St. Louis. And the Pirates lost to the Blue Jays 7-1. Cubs put a run on the board in the top of the first. They're playing out at Arizona. There's the 2-2. Ground ball to Walker. And that will end the inning. Barnes gets a little double play ball help as he keeps the Reds off the board, and the Brewers maintain this 3-run lead at 7-4. Stretch time at Miller Park, and on a gorgeous summer Sunday afternoon, sellout crowd at the ball yard. Let us join for the singing of God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
The Brewers with a 7-4 lead here at Miller Park. Time for a game break now. We go out to Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Series between the Braves and the Cardinals. And Brandon Phillips, former Red, hit his 10th home run of the season in the 5th inning. This a 2-run shot off of Michael Wacha in the 5th. So the the Braves currently have a 5-1 lead in the 8th. St. Louis has won 8 out of their last 10, and they've tied up in first place with the Cubs. So we'll see the outcome of that game. Maybe a shakeup yet again in the division standings.
All right, Sophia, fun to watch. Check it out. Brewers in the thick of it in the National League Central. Great time of year. Football starting, baseball moving into the home stretch. Patrick Kivlahan now enters the game. He is in left field. Reds with a new pitcher, and I'll tell you about him in a moment. Robert Stevenson on the mound facing Jonathan Villar.
Yeah, Stevenson just came off the disabled list today. He's been on since August, beginning of August. And he had a right shoulder contusion that happened against the Pirates.
Bring it with some good velocity, Ken Stevenson. Tim Adelman worked the 6th and retired the side in order. Villar doubled his last at bat, and a hot shot Corralled by Joey Votto in the feed to Stevenson for out number 1.
Yeah, Gold Glove play right there. Votto able to snare it, and Stevenson able to get over there in time for the out, taking away extra bases from VR. That ball was by him, and it threw the glove up there and able to grab it. Not a very good throw by Votto, but Stevenson able to catch it and tag the bag. Good defense. They've been doing that all year.
1 away in the 7th for Eric Thames. Thames was hit by a pitch in the 5th inning. He's also struck out and grounded to 3rd. Mentioned the power that Thames has put on display against the Reds. He's hit for a high average as well, 364 against Cincinnati coming into this game, although he is 0 for 2 so far this afternoon. A ball, a strike. Stevenson against Thames. Was a first-round draft pick was Stevenson back in 2011. California guy.
And Stevenson got a save against the Brewers. Well, he pitched the final 3 innings of a victory, by Cincinnati. That was bad. It was on June 16th. A 5-1 win. He pitched the final 3. Credited with his first save.
Just walks Eric Thames, and the control issues continuing for Stevenson. It existed the last couple of years in AAA, and it continues here this season.
MLB.tv every night, every device. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live. Plus, get a free subscription to At Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details.
One out, one on for Ryan Braun. 2 doubles and a strikeout for Brawny here today. Hitting streak now at 8 games for Braun. About a 500 batting average in the process. And it's notable that he has reached base at least twice in each game of that streak. On a hot stretch even by his high standards. A ball, a strike.
Knocking at the door at a 300 batting average. Ryan Braun hitting .297 this at bat. A lot of good hitting to get up here in that range.
Gonna do what they can to keep him as healthy as possible down the stretch. Scheduled day off here and there. Battled the calf issue, as a wrist issue that he has to closely monitor. Keep him as fresh as you possibly can as we get into the final month and a half of the regular season. Very good month of April, and then the injury bug appeared. A ball, 2 strikes.
Just having him in the lineup makes a difference. Even if he doesn't get hits. There are days when he's not going to get hits, but I think everybody is pitched a little bit differently in front of him and behind him when he's in the lineup.
1-2 the count. Thames the runner at first, and a block from Barnhart. We're seeing a Brewers team that went a couple of weeks without scoring as many as 5 runs in a game, and then Friday night arrives, 10 on the board, 6 last night. Thames a big factor. 7 runs so far today, as the Brewers are putting up numbers like they were for a good chunk of the season. The 2-2 pitch. There are certain teams that are just good fits, and certainly with Thames we have seen it this year. With BRAUN we have seen it throughout Ryan's career.
And a number of hitters for the Brewers that have had good numbers against Cincinnati this year.
Good timing. See them come in, and yet the job is not done. Reds won here on Friday night. Brewers needed 10 and a wild pitch in the 10th to win last night. The Reds pitching last year gave up 258 home runs. That was a record, and the pace they're on this year would surpass that. Giving up 1 today, that's 195. With plenty of season left. 2-2 to BRAUN. And he lifts a fly ball to shallow center field. Billy Hamilton will put it away. 2 men out.
A pretty good breaking pitch right there for Stevenson. Able to get BRAUN out in front. Ryan BRAUN has had a number of very long at bats, high pitch count at bats against a lot of these different Cincinnati pitchers. Didn't win that battle, but he's won a lot of them.
2 men out. No chance for Neil Walker. Couple of singles in his Brewers debut. Mentioned at the top, we talked about Walker and really like what he does. He seemed like a really great fit at Pittsburgh. He's from Pittsburgh. Good years with the Pirates. They moved him a couple of years ago to the Mets for pitcher John Neese. Hits well in this ballpark.
Yep, a native of Pittsburgh. And the Pirates were unwilling to sign him to a long-term contract during a period of time where they were giving everybody long-term deals, but not Walker, and he wasn't happy about it.
Tweeted last night that he was thrilled to be joining a team in the midst of a pennant race. Why not? Who wouldn't be?
Well,
but he hustled to get here, and he sends a very high pop-up out toward Scooter Gennett. And that will do it for the Reds here in the 7th inning. We move to the 8th at Miller Park with the Brewers leading Cincinnati 7-4. Here they see the Brewers leading the Reds 7-4. The Big Three continues as basketball's greatest legends take it to the court in Los Angeles. Rashard Lewis, Steven Jackson, Mike Bibby, and Al Harrington keep the action going in a 3-on-3 matchup for the championship. The Big Three is changing the game tomorrow night at 7 Central on FS1. No off season in basketball. Watch it year round. 3-on-3.
Yeah.
Fun. Here is Scooter Gennett. 0 for 2 with a walk is the former Brewer. Reds come here one more time. It'll be the last home series of the season for the Brewers. September 26th, 27th, and 28th. Before that, the Brewers have another trip to Great American Ballpark beginning of September.
They have plenty of games against the division. Ample opportunities to be in control of your own destiny. Cubs, Cardinals, Pirates.
The way this race is going, that will be a crazy month of September. The Brewers still have a huge road trip out west here this month. Matter of fact, it starts on Friday night. That is swing and a miss.
Yeah, Cutter that time up in his zone, and Gennett underneath with the big hack.
Ball, 2 strikes. Barnes out there for his second inning of work. Matt Garza started, went 5 1/3. Jeremy Jeffress finished off that 6th inning. Barnes the 7th. Back out there in the top of the 8th. Two and 2 the count. 4 runs on 6 hits for the Reds, 7 on 8 for the Brewers. Both teams have committed an error. Reds have stranded a half dozen. Jacob Barnes trying to continue this good weekend of work from the Milwaukee bullpen. Gennett, Suarez, and Peraza, the hitters for Cincinnati in the top of the 8th. Barnes missing at 98. Now a full count to Scooter Gennett. Payoff pitch on the way. And that's a call, 3rd strike.
I don't blame Scooter Gennett. That was pretty much the same pitch. I mean, back-to-back pitches, almost identical location. One a ball, one a strike. And this time he's rung up.
It's been a hard zone to figure out for these hitters here today.
Yeah, it has. It really has. It was a little bit off the play, but that's been called a strike all day.
Here's Eugenio Suarez. This one up and in. It's the first strikeout for Jacob Barnes. And the 3rd for Brewers pitching. Matt Garza had a couple. Walked 5. Suarez gets into one, back into left center field. Ryan Braun going back, and he'll play it off the wall. And on his way into second is Eugenio Suarez with his first hit of the day.
And we got the cut fastball that stayed in the middle of the plate, and Suarez able to hit it off the wall out there in left center. And you see the grip, the spin, it stayed upstairs. And Suarez had a pitch to hit, and he didn't miss it.
Remember last night in the 8th inning, he just missed one. Going to right center field, hit high off the wall, and the game was tied at 5 at that point. That was a big, a little bit of a break there is what I'm trying to say with the Brewers. A couple more inches up, and the Reds have the lead, and they're in a position to win it.
Yeah, right. Guy can hit.
Well, Jared Hughes warming up now in the Brewers bullpen as Jose Peraza settles in.
We saw 2 innings out of Corey Knebel last night, and just watching what's been Craig Counsell's bullpen work today. I mean, normally this will be an Anthony Swarzak inning, the 8th, if Knebel is available. Trying to get through the 8th with Barnes, maybe Hughes, and then maybe use Swarzak in the 9th. So after a 2-inning outing yesterday, perhaps Knebel not available today.
0-2 the count to Peraza. Yes, Swarzak last worked on Thursday night against the Twins. He has pitched well since coming over in that trade with the White Sox. No balls, 2 strikes to Jose Peraza. Saying Peraza has tried to tweak his approach at the plate. We talked about it with Keon Broxton last night, raising his hands up there with Peraza. They've talked about him rocking that back foot, kind of like a Nolan Arenado type of approach. They're trying to get Peraza going. Might have an answer about Knebel there, Rock. It looks like he may be getting ready.
I don't think so.
Or maybe not. Or he's walking around and fooling us all.
Even when he just gets up and picks up a baseball, it's big news.
Stop the presses. Breaking news at the ballpark. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Barnes now in a little bit of a danger zone. Full count. Tucker Barnhart is on deck. Knebel, for the record, needed 26 pitches. A couple innings last night. Full count to Peraza. Suarez the runner at second. And a big strikeout for Jacob Barnes. 2 men out in the 8th.
They chased the pitch out of the strike zone. Boy, he needed that. Boy, Peraza takes that pitch, and Barnes is in big trouble. Tying run at the plate. Peraza can't hold up. Good cut fastball. Here you see the spin out of the zone, and a very defensive swing for out number 2.
Now Barnes will try to end the inning as he faces Tucker Barnhart. Good day at the plate for Barnhart. 2 singles, including an RBI single in the 6th inning. 2-run inning for the Reds. 2 in the 4th, 2 in the 6th. Bump that average up to 271. Barnhart has become a hot hitter at the plate and showing power as well. Keep that in mind. The 1-0.
They with a pretty good cut fastball today, and he's thrown a lot of them. Even on that 1-0 pitch, got Barnhart to beat it into the ground right in front of home plate.
Brewers trying to, at worst, stay 2 games behind the Cubs. Cubs lead the Diamondbacks 2-0 in the top of the 3rd. Get a little something going. They snapped that losing streak at 6 last night. See if they can't get a winning streak going here. The 1-1 pitch to Barnhart. Cold strike, top of the zone, 1-2 to count. For that next team to get hot in this division. Cardinals trail the Braves 5-3 in the 9th inning. St. Louis in danger of having its winning streak end at 8 games. One-two pitch to Barnhart. He struck him out. Jacob Barnes gives up a double, but he strikes out 3. Gets Jeanette, Garza, and Barnhart.
Last night 7-4 right now as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning, and Domingo Santana is set to lead off for Milwaukee, and right now his 3-run home run a difference maker in this game. As we go back to the 5th inning, our Badger Mutual Insurance play of the game for Santana's 19th home run. The 19 home runs matches career total coming into the season, so you know what kind of season that Domingo has had. And after the ball game, Brewers Live presented by Ascension, we'll talk about Santana, Neil Walker debut, and hear from Craig Counsell and the Brew Crew. Sophia will have some interviews for us. Plenty coming up. Rock will join me on the set. And Matt, the swan song here. Farewell, my friend. Nice job.
All right, man. We'll look forward to it. Come on over to Camp Randall. We'll fix you up. I know a guy. I got a guy.
You got a
look
guy?
forward to it. Yeah, I got a guy.
Yeah, it's you.
Domingo Santana leading off. Down 0-2.
Interesting that Corey Knebel's up and throwing out in that Brewers bullpen. Throwing everybody a curve.
He's got a nasty one.
Yeah.
2-strike pitch to Santana. Well, off day tomorrow. So I guess if he feels like he has to, Craig Counsell could make that move. Sean was right. That home run by Santana looming very large now in that 5th inning, going opposite field. Robert Stevenson with a 2-strike pitch, and he puts away Domingo Santana for out number 1. Here comes Manny Pina. Continues to get the heavy workload here. Stephen Vogt through some rehab games with the Timber Rattlers. Bought 5 innings last night. DH work. Still thinking that, you know, perhaps he could be rejoining the club on that west swing, beginning perhaps as early as this coming weekend with Colorado. We'll see. They have needed not just the bat. I mean, it's a total package with PINA. The 287 average, his work behind the plate, that strong arm. Second inning for Stevenson. We mentioned back off the disabled list. Sal Romano started, went 5. Tim Adelman an inning. Oh, and Pena gets hit. That was coming in high and or up and in on him. He's going to need a moment.
So at least they're looking down around the hand area, not up around the head or up in that direction. You couldn't really tell where it got him. It was right at him. No chance he could get out of the way of it. Yeah, it looked like it got him forearm, elbow area. That could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
Watch where this ball comes across. That's high.
Yeah, it is. That is dangerous area. That's the throwing arm, though. And remember, Jed Bandy with the rib injury. Stephen Vogt working his way back from the knee injury. Andrew Susac is the other catcher on the Brewers roster right now. Pena's going to stay in the game. Stevenson even going over. You all right?
Yeah, let that one get away, and this guy can bring it pretty good.
That's a hold your breath moment right there. Pinch hitter now for the Brewers, Keon Broxton. An opportunity. See what Keon can do. Talked about it last night, Rock, and a little adjustment with Broxton at the plate. Time we would see his hands more toward the belt. But now holding a little bit higher now, just trying to get into a better hitting position.
He's trying to get comfortable in his pre-swing setup. I mean, hitters will go back and forth a lot with that. Do something different. Sometimes it's so subtle that you really can't see it from up here in the stands, but that's an obvious one. Holding the hands high, resting the bat on the shoulder and lifting it up right before the pitcher comes to the plate. Trying to minimize movement with the hands before the pitch comes.
He is 1 for 6 in this series. Stevenson with a 1-1. And a bouncing ball that is foul over at third. All 2 strikes to Broxton. And Perez had to start in center field this afternoon. Perez the on deck hitter. Brewers with 8 hits in the game. Stevenson with a 1-2. Broxton goes down swinging. A couple of strikeouts here in the inning for Robert Stevenson. There are 2 men out.
And time for today's time of the game winner, the Schoolhouse Bar and Mountain. If they call the Brewers by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, they get 40 tickets to a Friday night game in the Miller Lite Beer Pen. This offer courtesy of the Tavern Lake of Wisconsin and Miller Lite.
Mountain.
It's west of Crivets. You know, Crivets used to be a pretty good grouse hunting area.
Is that right?
It used to be back in, way back when they used to do stuff like that.
Okay. Dropping a lot of knowledge here. So just go ahead and credit Mike, or
no,
that's your own. That's your own.
You know, west
All
of Crivets, that's him. But the grouse part of it, that's me. I've been to Crivets.
Okay, I got you. So you don't partake anymore?
I don't hunt.
You don't hunt anymore?
I do not.
All right.
No. It's not that I don't believe in it. It's just that I don't know.
You have stuff to do. You have stuff to do. I understand.
I'm an outdoors guy, but
oh, Perez a swing and a miss, and Stevenson very effective his couple innings of work here this afternoon. Well, I think we're going to see Corey Knebel after all. 7-4 Brewers. Let's go to the ninth. Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin, presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Let the games begin. Move to the ninth inning here at Miller Park. Brewers trying to put away the Reds, leading 7-4. Let's check out what's on tap, presented by Miller Lite. Brewers back at it on Monday. Zach Davies, Ivan Nova, your pitching matchup. We'll get it started at 6 o'clock here on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Corey Knebel gets the call here for the Brewers in the ninth inning. 2 innings worked last night. Picked up his first win and starts Zach Cozart with a strike. Excuse me, Patrick Kivlahan with a strike.
Yeah, the more he pitches, the better that curveball becomes. 2 innings last night, a hit and 3 strikeouts. Kind of interesting we didn't see Anthony Swarzak today. I mean, normally he would have the 8th and then Knebel the 9th. It was Barnes for 2 and now Corey.
Heading the count to Kivlahan, a ball, 2 strikes. Good 2 innings of work from Jacob Barnes. Put up a couple of hits, but that was it. A couple of strikeouts. Knebel, who's been racking up strikeouts all season long, ahead of the count 1-2. Saw the strength of Kiblahan last night in the second inning. He lined one out of here to the left, slipped it just inside the foul pole, and that got out of here right now.
Almost knocked the foul pole over.
Didn't worry about putting a lot of air under that baseball. Sent it out of here quickly.
Doesn't have the batting average, but he certainly got the pop in that bat.
That was his 8th home run of the season. He's had 146 plate appearances. Not a ton. 1-2 curveball, and he'll take a seat. Out number 1 in the 9th.
Yeah, the moneymaker for Corey Knebel is that curveball, and when he's got it working, everything's better. The fastball becomes more effective. Perfect. Right at the bottom of the strike zone.
1 down in the 9th. Here's Billy Hamilton. Hamilton reached his first 2 trips to the plate, a single in the first, stole his 49th base of the year, walked in the 3rd, but since then he's been quiet. A ground ball to second. Fielder's choice, and an ending ground ball in the 6th. Combination from Knebel, that nasty curveball and an upper 90s fastball.
And you really know right away when he's got the curveball. One of his first pitches is a curveball. You know he's confident in it.
Just missing. Down low, 2-1 the count. Back to the heater. Keep the traffic at a minimum. Winker is on deck, and
what you're trying to avoid is that tying run coming to the plate, especially with Joey Votto up.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Here it comes. And this is popped up. Neil Walker with room in foul territory. 2 outs in the 9th. Well, the Brewers trying to restore order here after a 6-game losing streak. They snapped it last night. Trying to get 2 out of 3 against the Reds. Off day tomorrow. Pirates come to town on Tuesday. Sellout crowd, 43,000 plus at Miller Park on a gorgeous Sunday afternoon, looking for the Brewers All-Star to finish this one off. They remain in the thick of the race. The Milwaukee Brewers pitch to Winker, curveball, strike 1. One strike pitch. Curve again. 0-2. It's nasty again this afternoon.
Yeah, and it gets better the more he throws. It seems like that one out of the zone.
2 strikes and nothing to Jesse Winker. Here it comes. And a line drive into left field, a base hit.
Tried to waste a fastball, just didn't get it up high enough. Curveball, high fastball up around the letters was probably what they were trying to do.
Here's Joey Votto. Couple of walks today. That's it. Hit into a double play in the 7th inning. Fastball up and away from Knebel. Reds now with 8 hits. Same total as the Brewers. Winker extends the game with a 2-out single. The 1-0 to Votto. Curveball. Dropped it in there. Yeah, that's working.
Beauty.
Knebel looking looking to nail this one down. Give the Brewers win number 61 on the season. The 1-1. Just off the plate with the fastball.
Up on deck, he got the pitcher spot. Adam Duvall's out of the ball game. You don't have to worry about him.
It's Devin Mesoraco. The 2-1. Winker is running, and Votto with a fly ball hit back into left field. Ryan Braun near the wall, makes the catch, and the Brewers win it. They take 2 out of 3 against Cincinnati. And they continue to put the pressure on the Cubs and the Cardinals in the thick of the fight in the middle of August. Well, the bats came alive for the Brew Crew this weekend. Eric Thames, a couple of bombs. Helping lead the way. Neil Walker, his Brewers debut, with a couple of base hits. Some nice work out at third. Domingo Santana, a big 3-run homer.
So you finish your season with a win, my friend.
I like that.
Well done. Appreciate everything. Good job.
Thanks,
good luck
brother.
with the Badgers this
Absolutely.
fall.
Good luck, you guys, the rest of the year. Be watching. Be watching. All right. Brewers are winners, 7-4. Let's send it to Craig Kashawn, ready to go with Brewers Live.
All right, good series win for the Brew Crew. We'll talk about the race. We'll get you set for the next series coming up on Tuesday against the Pirates. We'll hear from Craig Counsell, Neil Walker, all coming up. Brewers Live postgame presented by Ascension.